At our last meeting, all our decisions were pro-vaccine. This includes the vote to remove mercury for vaccines. Mercury is a known toxin, just like lead and cigarette smoke, and we should minimize exposure to such toxins as the effect is cumulative. If you had to choose between buying similar hot dogs with or without mercury for your kids, raise your hand if you would pick the mercury-containing hot dogs. Nobody would?
Hi, my name is Dr. Rubin, and RFK Jr. installed Martin Kulldorff as the chair of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, who's using the same type of playbook that RFK Jr. does, which is that he misrepresents the truth. He says inflammatory statements to try to sow doubt and division amongst people and get people scared about vaccination. The analogy that Martin Kulldorff used to say that you would never feed your child a hot dog containing mercury, why would you do that with vaccines, is completely ridiculous and inaccurate for this reason. Thimerosal is what was removed in vaccines in the early 2000s, and they just voted recently to remove it from the small percentage of influenza vaccines that still had it. Thimerosal is ethyl mercury. That's not the same thing as mercury. Ethyl mercury is cleared by your body very quickly. Mercury accumulates in fish. And so it's this false equivalency. It's basically like saying you shouldn't be drinking water because it's the same thing as chlorine gas. Chemistry actually matters. Now, there's one more issue I want to address that Martin Kulldorff said in the beginning of his opening statement, which is that you should not trust scientists who are unwilling to debate other people. And this debate me bro culture that I see online is allowing fringe ideas that are not rooted in actual evidence-based practice to be elevated into a public social media forum like YouTube or on podcasts, when the reality is that the scientific and medical communities do have open debates, but it's in an academic environment where people are going to publish their findings under peer review with multiple experts looking at that information. We have journal clubs where experts will talk about the findings in an open forum. Those types of debates are healthy, and we do that all the time. But to have someone go on a podcast or have an interview one-on-one like that is going to always favor the person who has better debating skills and not necessarily what's truly accurate. And that's why RFK Jr. is often very effective, because he's a lawyer and that's what they do for a living. Scientists are going to comb through all of the data with their background and expertise of years of experience to be able to help as a community come to a consensus, rather than some fringe person like Martin Kulldorff who is going to try to tell you something completely different and sow distrust.